Hey everybody, welcome back. Julie and I, we've got a special guest all the way from the country of Georgia, right?
Yes, we do. Mari.
Yeah, so we are interested in the country of Georgia, have been interested in the country of Georgia for a very long time, and we're actually disappointed that we have not got to this particular country yet. It's straddles the kind of the border of Asia and Europe. Some people consider it a European country, some people consider it an Asian country. It's on the eastern side of the Black Sea, and so you've got mountains, you've got
The sea.
beaches. Yeah, so we've got an expert that talks about or helps people that want to go to Georgia and stay in Georgia, invest in Georgia, be a digital nomad there. If you're looking at going to Georgia, she's the person you want to talk to. So we're gonna bring her over right now. Her name is
Mari.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really glad I'm here with you today, and we are going to talk about Georgia.
Super. So give us and the viewers a little bit of background on, what you're about and what Georgia is like and you know, what your feelings are about the current situation and having folks coming over and investing and buying and or just living there.
Yeah, current situation, even though there are right now political demonstration in the street and there is a war in the region, Ukraine is not a neighbor of Georgia, but it's quite near to Georgia. I would say we as ordinary citizens, we feel quite safe. When we go out, it's safe. There is definitely freedom of speech in the country. Everybody says whatever they want against government. And for me, I have to admit it, as much as I don't like current governments, that it's safe, luckily, and there is freedom of speech, and I don't feel any danger being here at all.
So we understand there's been a lot of folks that have come from Ukraine and Russia to escape the conflict there, and so I think the cost of housing and Airbnbs and some different things have gone up considerably over the last couple of years. Is that the case? And is Georgia still an affordable destination for people to go? And how is the price of temporary housing or the cost of buying a house?
Yeah, when the war in Ukraine started, definitely price of real estate skyrocketed, doubled or tripled. But I would say now it's kind of corrected already. The time corrected it and it went down again. But if we compare Georgia to European countries, cost of living here is definitely cheaper, way cheaper than in European countries.
So if you were to go out for a dinner, a nice dinner somewhere, what do you think you and if you went out with a spouse or a friend, what would it cost for a dinner for two to go out in Georgia?
It's hard for me to answer because the prices can be very different. Price can be a very cheap as 20 euros. You can eat in a nice restaurant. Georgian food is usually cheaper, but if you go to a fancy restaurant, try some exotic food, it can be very expensive, as expensive as in any other country because I think there is segments everywhere, right? Some restaurants are targeting a high paid segment, and some restaurants are targeting lower middle class segments. So it depends a lot, but for as much as like even 20 euro, you can eat nice food in a decent restaurant.
Would that be 20 euros a person or be 20 euros?
Uh, like if you eat Georgian food is really cheap. So with 20 euros, you can eat a lot of hinkali, khachapuri, it's Georgian food, and you can get really full. If you go for Georgian food, it can be 20 euros per two person. Or my kind of person, I don't eat much. But for 20 euros per person, you can eat definitely a lot of Georgian food.
We liked in Cali.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
very good. So with your life in Batumi, what is life like in Batumi, and what should somebody think about if they wanted to go to Batumi, what would they need as far as an income or money to survive on in that region and be comfortable?
Yeah, and different people have different standards of living, but if we again speak about like middle class living, for one person, I think around 1,000 euros, I believe, or dollars is more than enough because you can get for $500 you can get a flat for one or two person, a very good flat, and I don't know, you probably don't need another more than 200 for eating, um, and electricity and utilities. One thing about Georgia is that utilities are very cheap. Maybe for $100 you pay everything: internet, electricity, water, everything. $100 totally. And yeah, it's for $1,000 per person is more than enough, I would say. But if you are living modestly, you can, a less amount will be enough. Lesser amount even would be enough.
So if somebody wanted to live there, can correct me if I'm wrong, because maybe I'm out of date on my knowledge. Americans can go there for 12 months without doing anything special. Are there other nationalities that have that same deal, and is that still the situation?
Yes, it's still situation. There are lots of countries that can benefit from that, including all European countries, Canada, and I know there are some other countries. There is a list of the countries. I think it's over 100 countries actually who can benefit from this regime. So they can come here and live here for 1 year without needing any documentations, anything, or doing anything. And what people do, even if they cross the border for 5 minutes, for example, Turkey is very close to Batumi, it's just 10 kilometers maybe. If they cross the border for 5 minutes and come back, then they can live another 1 year without any problems.
That's all it takes is so
Yeah.
you can go to Georgia, spend a year, basically take a day trip to Turkey and come back, and you have another year.
Yes, and actually, I know some American seniors who are getting American pensioners,
Yeah,
and
pensioners.
they are living in Batumi, doing that exactly. They are just living here, crossing the border once a year, and just enjoying their American pension, living in Georgia decently.
Wow, that's fantastic.
That's incredible. And I understand the taxes are very, very reasonable in Georgia as well.
Yes, there would. First of all, I would say that if you compare to Europe, a Georgian tax code taxation system is very straightforward and very simple. It's the same for everyone. No progressive taxes, nothing. It's just six tax. Most of the tax won't apply to normal entrepreneur. That pays everyone. Everyone pays the same amount of tax. It's fixed rates.
What is that?
For
I'm sorry, yes, I think you're gonna give that answer. What is the rate?
Yeah, so if you go for, it depends on the legal form. For LLC, it's 20% corporate income tax, but the tax base is distributed profit. You don't pay this tax if you don't distribute the profit. So to be more precise, it's 15% corporate income tax plus 5% dividend that you pay when you distribute your profit. So totally 20%. And income tax that you pay for your employees is also 20%. But most of the people are okay with the legal form individual entrepreneurship, which is sometimes also called sole proprietorship. And with that, you can claim small business status and pay just 1% of tax. That's what some of my clients from Europe do because they have online businesses, they are marketers, they have freelancing, they are IT professionals, and they don't have this complicating setup, right? Different partners and so on. So they register individual entrepreneurship, claim their small business status, and pay just 1% of tax and enjoy their savings.
So I've got a question. So we have the pensioners that may come there now. I don't know if there's a pensioner residency, but I'm assuming that the pensioners can come and do 12 months, leave for a day, come back for 12 months. But then you'll have your digital nomads and the people that will want to come in and work in Georgia. So they'll have the tax bracket in there. But is there, if a person gets residency as a pensioner, and first off, is there a residency for pensioners? And is there a tax on their pensions if they do become residents? And how is the medical system in Georgia for these people that are pensioners or the foreigners that come to Georgia?
Okay, so there is no special residency for pensioners, unfortunately, but as I said, they can still benefit from the this system we already talked about, right? You live here for 1 year, cross-border, and so on. But what they can do if they want to get Georgian residency, just to be a safer side, because some people are worried, what if in the future Georgia changes its regulations and now they cannot stay anymore for 1 year, right? They are worried about that. What they can also do, they can invest in real estate, and there is a special residency for investment. So if someone invest in real estate that is worth $100,000, they can get Georgian residency. So that's what pensioners can consider if they want to be on a safer side. In Georgia, there is territorial taxation system, which means that you don't pay taxes on your foreign income. So if you receive your income from America, from Germany, from other countries, you don't have to pay tax in Georgia, only on Georgian source of income.
Okay. But no, what about medical access
Yeah.
for your medical system? Is it best to have private insurance, or is there a way to be on a government health system, and is it good quality?
First of all, I would say that Georgia, unlike other countries, health insurance is not mandatory. Public health insurance, I don't know how good is it. So you should probably go with the private insurance. I know that private insurance, I don't know exactly the prices, but it's quite reasonable if you compare to America and the EU countries. That's what I heard from my clients. And it covers a lot of things, including dentist appointments and so on. One thing I know for sure that one of my American clients is always shocked how low of the prices he needs to pay for his appointments to doctors. Every time he is shocked because he says that there is much more for those kind of services that he needs to pay in the US.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and just speak to this part really quickly. For the new viewers here that may not be familiar with Julie and I was and still am a licensed insurance agent from the United States, and I represent about 8 different companies for international health coverage. So if you go to warrenjulietravel.com and go to our international health insurance tab, there's a lot of companies there that I represent. And if you need an individual quote based on your situation, send me an email at warrenjulietravel@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to work out a quote for you. But yes, health insurance abroad is much cheaper than in the United States. So Julie and I, we have a policy, $2,500 deductible. I'm 56 going on 57. Julie's about to turn 50. And we're going to be, if you average it out over the year, we're going to do an annual payment. That's going to be about $220 a month on average is what our insurance comes out to be for our upcoming 2025 by paying an annual installment.
Yes.
So the quality of the healthcare in Georgia, how would you feel it rates? Is it I guess we have some people that will tell you, like, for example, Turkish medical is fantastic. Others will think it's not that great. Depends on where you go. We've had great experiences in Turkey with their health system, but we went to private facilities, and we have seen that the public facilities are a bit more run down, and maybe they get good care, but we haven't used them. But you can definitely see there's a quality, at least aesthetic difference between the two.
Yeah, quality of healthcare is, I'm not the right people to judge probably because fortunately, I don't use much healthcare system. But I wouldn't say it's outstanding, and I wouldn't say it's too bad. Probably somewhere in the middle.
Okay. And it's easy enough for the outsider though to come in and just walk up and say, I'd like to see a doctor. There's not a whole lot of
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah, that's actually, I was, because I also have residency in Germany. I live in Germany. And sometimes when I come here, in Germany, health insurance is mandatory. So I have health insurance in Germany. And all the time I have to go to doctor, I go in Germany, not in Georgia, obviously. But when I come here and I needed to visit doctor, I called the hospital and I was like, I need to make appointment for doctor, and they were like, what appointment? Just come. So it's definitely it's very easy. You just go to the hospital, and there is always a doctor who can take you. Sometimes you may have to wait, unfortunately, for this reason. I don't find it very convenient, but maybe within an hour you will get an appointment. Unlike Germany, which you have to wait for doctors sometimes for months.
Do you happen to know when you're buying real estate in the country of Georgia as a foreigner, are there any restrictions? Like in Poland, for example, unless you're sitting with a residency, a permanent residency, or a citizenship, you can't buy anything with land. Is that the same case in Georgia, or are you free to just purchase?
Yes, in Georgia, foreigners cannot buy land unless it's for commercial purposes. You can buy a land if you intend to have business there, in other words. For just living there, you cannot buy a land. But also there is workaround to there. There are some companies who are building houses and selling those to foreigners. So basically, you can buy house with land from them. There is workaround because this land actually does not belong to you, just the house, if it makes sense. This kind of setup. So if you want to buy a house, there is still a way.
I'm going to go and digress a little bit towards different types of residency. There are abilities for people to go to Georgia as students and go to school there. Can you talk a little bit about people that would like to go to Georgia for education, and how is the education system, and what do people have to do to go to Georgia to be a student and enroll in the colleges and the universities?
Yeah, so I think those people need to contact directly universities. Every university have their own requirements, application procedure, and once they get accepted, they can take this letter to the local authority, public service hall, and get their residency. I think it's quite simple in Georgia.
Now, you have your services that you offer for people coming to Georgia. Can you kind of lay out what you can do for people as an expert for Georgia?
We basically act as a representative in Georgia for our clients. So we will provide various kind of services that they need, but mainly with the business formation, with residency per investment, real estate scouting services, this kind of services. We also provide accounting services. This was actually how I started. I started as accountant, and then I realized how much of problems foreigners face in Georgia that I never thought that it's a problem, because it's easy for me as a Georgian to solve those. That's how my business idea was born. Wait, I could offer this kind of services if they struggle with those. So it just kind of expanded to other services from there.
Talk language. You've got the Georgian people. You have a Georgian language dialect of that's unique to the Georgia region. What about people who are English speakers or speakers of other languages? What languages are commonly spoken, and how easy is it to get by? Of course, with the Google Translator, anybody can get by anywhere. But if you spoke English and did not have a translator around or other language, how easy is it to survive?
I would say it's more easier than difficult. I can't say that all most of the population speak German, especially sorry English, especially the older ones. Maybe they don't speak, but the younger ones, almost everybody speaks English now. So I would say it's easier than difficult, but it's not like in Germany, for example, that almost everyone knows English, right? We go to the small shop and the shop sellers, consultant sellers, everyone knows English. In small shops, for example, local shops, they may not know English. But in general, a lot of people knows English, I would say.
What would you say the Georgian language is most similar to as far as a language?
That's the tricky part because I don't think it's similar to any other language on the planet. It's different. Also, I mean, people they think that it's similar to Russian, but this is absolutely not true. It's so different. And we have also our own alphabet, which is also in the world, I think there is 14 alphabets only, and one of them is Georgian.
Wow. I really wasn't aware of that. I knew that Georgia, because of its unique placement on the basically the borders of Asia and Europe and really the Middle East region, how I mean you've got your Armenia, Azerbaijan, you've got Turkey, Russia, all around your country there. And so you've got an influence of many different cultures coming
Yeah.
through there. Um, which makes it very unique. So a lot of the architecture in Georgia has a European vibe to it.
I would say because Georgia is, as you said, on the border between Asia and the Europe, the culture here is pretty much mixed. We have some things from Asian culture and something from Western culture. Right now, I think all countries are westernized because of this internet. Borders are open, and more or less, I think every country is becoming similar Western culture. But in Georgia, for example, what I noticed after visiting other countries, it's still it's group culture because Western countries are more individualistic countries. They have individualistic cultures, but Georgia is influenced by Asia by having a group culture. This means that we are really closely in touch with our relatives, still all around our lives, cousins, extended family. We always gather up. We are really, really close. That's, I think, one thing it's different from Europe. But other than that, uh, Georgia is pretty westernized, I would say.
And with your holidays, because we just went through Christmas and we're in Montenegro currently, we do our Christmas December 25th. The country of Montenegro and Serbia and parts of the Orthodox region are doing it January 7th. How does your holiday fall in line in Georgia?
Yeah, because Georgia, we are Orthodox Christians. We celebrate Christmas on 7th of January too. So we still have Christmas now to celebrate. But I would say New Year and Christmas is uh, biggest celebration in Georgia. And I love New Year because everybody is so excited. Everybody is getting ready for something new. And because our Christmas is on 7th of January, we are celebrating for 7 days straight. And you know what? On the 1st of January, doors it's just an open door. So everybody who wants comes and visits you. And you also go for 7 days, you go anywhere you want. You know that everybody is at home. They have open doors and you can visit your favorite people. And everybody feels festive. We drink lots of wine, we dance, we sing. I would say that Georgians are pretty artistic people. We are born to make art because I think we have very nice also designers, like clothes designers. I think people are dressed up. If you compare with their salary, I think they are dressed up pretty well. I think people just have this sense of art. And when I also compare now Georgian real estate to German real estate, right? Interior design is like different. I know people have less money here in Georgia, but their houses are pretty much very nice and it does not take lots of money, I think. It's just they have this perception of art and colors and so on. Georgian people love to dance. I don't know if you have seen Georgian dance, it's different. We love to dance, we love to sing. And in this small country, I think there are lots of great singers. Like almost everybody sings except me, unfortunately.
So let's say that someone wanted to come from America, they want to buy a property, they want to live in Georgia for the rest of their lives. Your company can help them get a car, potentially register the car. Can that be done through you? What about real estate? Can you help them find a property, scout for properties?
Yeah. Yeah, we do that. We provide property scouting services. We don't define our company as real estate company because what we do, we just help people to search for properties based on their own needs. So we just talk to them, understand their requirements, and then we talk with the owners directly on behalf of them. The way we work right now is that we deal with buyer and then we will present them in front of sellers, get the best deals out of the market, negotiate price, and just get everything done, paperwork, until the end, until it's registered. And we also provide property management services afterwards.
Oh, that's great. So you're a full relocation service then. Someone comes to you, they can move to Georgia quite easily.
Yes, I would say it's very easy. Everyone who comes to Georgia is saying that. All of my clients that the bureaucracy is here is really, really low. So everything is very simple.
Now, there's a lot of new high rises and construction that have been going on in Batumi. The coastline's really developed and it looks like it's got a really nice skyline at this point in time. What is the cost of some of these condominiums? What do you think the range would be? Could you move there at 50,000 euros and buy a condo, or where do you think an entry point is for a nice one bedroom?
Yeah, actually, $50,000. You probably are very well familiar with Batumi's market. It's around the price that you can get nice condo in a new building. Around 50,000, like 40,000 is a really good price. We have this kind of deals, but it's rare. 50,000, 55,000 is more logical. But also price varies in Batumi a lot depending on how close the property is to the coast, to the beach. Very first line is very expensive, but the second line, which is also I don't know, 5 minutes maximum walk to the beach is way cheaper. And if you go inside the city, you can find very cheap properties as well. So price varies a lot based on distance from the coastline.
Well, we're looking forward to coming to visit with you at some point, Batumi. It may be another year down the road, unfortunately. But I would just want to let everybody know that Julie and I, we're traveling with our two dogs. We're trying to see what it's like to live in different countries, different places. We're trying to share our experiences and expenses with you. We try to talk to the experts to give you the best answers out there. If you want to go to Georgia, send us an email at warrenjulietravel@gmail.com and we'll put you in contact with Marie, and we'll hopefully help you to get a nice, with a smooth transition to Georgia. So we hope you're going to subscribe, give the video a like. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook. Look for Expat Slow Travel Nomad Network by Warren and Julie. And until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.